No thank you here, so of sayings, doer of doings, you know what it is, and I'm here to talk about, I'm here to talk about a lot of things that I tend to do in my videos. It's been a little while, missed you guys, thought I'd come back with a little story time, little fuck in it, little smoke in it, little quoke in it, all sorts of it is. I don't know, you come here, I don't come there, you come here, I don't come there, you know how it is. I don't come to your house and knock on your door and say, hey guys, no thank you here, doer of doing, sayer of sayings, let me tell you a little story. I don't do that. You come to me. And that's not my problem. So here I am. Sage, wise, wizened old sage, no thank you. Back again to wise you. Anyway, other day, saw this no thank you. Nope. No, that's me. So this Adam Neely video, Adam Neely, YouTuber, musician, guy, plays the bass guitar, you know, bass guitar, the one that sounds like exactly like the sound I just made, and well, it's a video, you may have even seen it, it's got quite a lot of views, and it's basically about him accidentally eating a weed brownie, and then having to play a gig, and he's really high. Oh no! What a wacky fella, eh? What a wacky story. And he's like, oh man, it was terrible. I couldn't experience the music in its purest form like I want to. That must be why Frank Zappa was so anti-drug. Or whatever, you know, all that shit. And I understand. Being in a high pressure situation when you're high as fuck is not pleasurable. That will really harsh your mellow, as the kids say, right? That's what they're saying these days. That will really harsh your mellow. But mellows aside, I wanted to tell a little story about when I had to, or chose to, perform under pressure while kind of high, because it got me thinking, you know. Well, the thing about the Adam Neely video is, if you're gonna be doing something while you're fucked up, and you need to be skillful at it, you should be glad that you're doing something that you've practiced for years and years. I mean, he went to uni to play bass, he went to Berkeley, he played bass for many years. If I was going to have to be in a high pressure situation, I'd want it to be something I've practiced for a long time. And that made me suddenly, a jolt of memory burst into my brain about a time when just that sort of thing happened, and now is the time for me to explain it to you. So me and my mate, who I won't talk too much about him in this story, he'll just sort of be a side character, because he generally not super into being talked about online, so I respect him in that regard. These glasses, they're broken as fuck. They're like, I don't even know if you can see that, but they're like wonky and shit, but that's fine, it is what it is. So there we are, out there in the streets, fucked up, stoned, and God knows what else. This was a few years ago now, quite a few years ago, and we basically went a bit too hard on the pre-game, and we decided to go out to a bar, I guess is what you would classify it as, a bar. So we go out to this bar, we walk there, it takes us a little while to get there, you know, this is why we went too hard, because we were walking there, and neither of us had any money at the time. We were both completely flat broke, and we were like, well, all the money we're going to spend on booze once we get there, so, you know, whatever, it is what it is. So we walk there, do what we gotta do, we get there, and at the time, I was underage by like a month or two, so there's a bouncer at the front of the club, or I don't know, it's not really a club, it was more like a bar. There's a bouncer there at the door, checking everyone who goes in, as is the legal requirement when you're that sort of place. So I'm like, there's no way I'm getting in there. So we decide to circle around, do a little scouting out the place, and we see there's a smoking area right next to the entrance. I don't know, we didn't really need to scout around that long, it was right there in front of us. But we scouted out anyway because we thought it was cool. But really, the answer was there the whole time. So there's a smoking area, and what we did was we went around the corner, rolled up a cigarette for both of us, and then we sort of snuck into the smoking area, ducked under a little barricade type thing, snuck into the smoking area, smoked a cigarette, and then just simply started a conversation with a few of the, like a group of people that were hanging out there. Simply started a conversation with them, and then when they went in, we just went in with them, all natural, like, bouncer didn't bat an eye, bouncer didn't bat an eye. We just walked straight in with that group, and that's, if you ever wondered how you do that, that's how you do that. So that happened. That's not the main story. So we get in. Things happened. I don't remember that much after this point, as you should probably expect. I don't remember that much from this day, especially later. I'll get into points where my memory is really failing, but at this point, we were hitting the booze hard. And we were smoking the bluegrass, if you know what I'm saying. If you know what I'm saying, boy. Smoking the bluegrass. So there we are in the club, and I remember very specifically that the DJ played Hong Kong Garden by Susie and the Banshees, which is my favourite Susie and the Banshees song, and is also a banger. If you haven't heard it, pause this video, open a new tab, search up Hong Kong Garden, listen to it, banger of a song. And I remember that. But either way, we were hanging out there and stuff, and we noticed over there a little staircase going up to a second level, and at the staircase there was a little cubby hole, like a ticket office, and people were going up to there and paying for something and getting stamped, and then going up the stairs. And we were like, damn son, we gotta see what's going on up them stairs. There must be like a VIP section or something more important section. So we go there, and basically we don't go there straight away. We take a little step back, observe what's happening. I was right. Basically, you give them money, you go upstairs. Very simple. I say we observe. It was actually just a sign that said like £20 entry or something to the upstairs bit. And I'm like, fuck paying £20 to walk up some stairs. But at this time, I happened to have a deck of cards in my pocket. So I'm like, yo, trust me on this one. I don't know if I actually said that, but as I said, my memory is hazy. Went up to the guy or girl, I don't remember, the person, I think it was a guy, at the little thing with the stamp where you pay them their money, and I said, hey, if I can fool you with a magic trick, will you let us go upstairs? And he said no. Very quickly, very swiftly, like almost like he never planned. The thought of saying yes to that question never even crossed his mind. No. But I was like, well, I'm here already. Hey, can I just show you a magic trick anyway? He's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So I do my deck of cards, and this is the thing where I really wish I could remember, because I really want to remember what trick I did, but I don't remember. From my powers of deduction, I have deduced that it was most likely a sandwich effect, and what that means is it's an effect where the card is found by being sandwiched between two other cards. I normally use the jokers, so they'll pick a card, lose it, whatever, and then it's found between the two jokers, you bring it out or whatever, you know? The reason I think that is because that's what I would do if you were to put me in that situation right now, because I've rehearsed that trick a lot. I've practiced it many times. I have pattern that I do every single time. I know how it goes, and it's hard to fuck up. Even though there's a lot of moves in swift succession, none of them are actually, they're all really easy sleight of hands. None of them are actually difficult. Now, the weird thing is, that makes me suspicious of this, is that I kind of remember being in a position with the cards. I have a very vague memory of being in a position with the cards that you aren't in when you do that trick. So that makes me think, but you are in that position where you do another trick that I often do. In fact, it's my opener, which means it's the trick I normally do. I mean, I'm sure you can guess what an opener is. It's the trick I normally do first to people. It's my opener. It's called card to mouth. Now that one has a very ballsy move in it. It's basically only, well, there's a few moves, but the main body of the trick is just one ballsy move. Obviously, you have to get a card in your mouth at some point, and that takes balls to pull off. And I don't think it would have gotten the reaction that it must have gotten, because it's more of a like kind of trick to get. So it's more of like an interesting trick, like, oh, this is a guy who actually can do something, but it's not like a mind-blowing trick that I would use to fool someone. which is why it's confusing that I remember being in that position. But as I said, my memory's hazy, so my current theory is that that memory is slightly wrong. I wasn't in that exact position, I was in a slightly different position, and that's why I actually did the sandwich routine. So either way, I did whatever trick I did, probably a sandwich routine, possibly an ambitious card with a colour change, and lo and behold, he looks up at us and says, "Give me your hand," and stamps both of our hands, and then we head upstairs, and the rest of the night is really a blur. I don't remember that, all I remember at one point is going down the fire escape. I think we were running away from something, I don't remember what or who or why. Maybe it was just a joke, maybe we were running for no reason, no idea. I have no idea how I got home from that because it was way too late to get a bus or something. I have no idea how I ended up being okay, but either way, got home, all safe. And all of that because I had the wherewithal to perform under pressure while mashed, right? While mashed. I was able to perform under pressure, and the reason is because I practiced that thing many, many times, and I practiced it in high pressure situations. That is the key. Under that on Adam Neely video, there's a comment, which I think it was meant as a joke, and it says, if you want to play high, you got to practice high. And that may have been meant as a joke, but it is actually very true, take it from me. If you want to do something right in a high pressure environment, you got to practice in high pressure environments. People act surprised. They practice something in a very casual setting, and then when they take it to the real deal, it doesn't work the same, or they can't put it off the same, because you need to practice in that high pressure environment. It's kind of like altitude training. If you're a runner, you practice by going up into a mountain where there's less, the air is thinner, and that way your body generates more red blood cells to compensate after you acclimatize, and then when you come back down, you're sick. That is the key. Practice in the, you should actually be practicing in a high pressure environment as you can possibly manage, because that way you get used to regulating your adrenal response, right? You don't get overtaken by adrenaline. This is a problem that a lot of armies and police forces deal with, that you ever wonder why police shoot so many people and why training doesn't seem to matter? It's because you can practice with a gun on a shooting range as much as you like, but when you're actually in that situation, your first instinct is to shoot first and ask questions later, as they say. You know, that's why cops are murderers, because they just kill people, right, without thinking, because they don't practice. Well, also because various other reasons, systemic reasons, but on an individual basis, they don't practice. They're not trained to be in those situations. Even if you're at the army, they'll practice with, like, I don't know if it's paintball guns or BB guns, basically, but like high-powered BB guns, basically. And even that, it's not the same when you're not genuinely in threat of dying. And I've been watching these Lindy Beige videos recently. Don't know who Lindy Beige is. He's a history YouTuber, and he's been talking about this phenomenon recently, about how in war, men will often just not act, and people will be like, what? Their officers will be very confused. That people seem to just go into a complete state of being useless, essentially. And all the various reasons behind that, I implore you to go watch those instead of, I mean, I'm not going to explain it to you, because I don't know my shit as well as he does, so go listen to those videos instead. Lindy Beige. So that's the key. If you want to perform high, you've got to practice high. I've noticed the same thing with my music. Now, music performance and music production or writing are very different things. You're generally not writing under much pressure. It's not something that really matters. You know, you're only under pressure from yourself. You're not writing in front of an audience, and you're not getting paid. Well, sometimes you are, but anyway, there's generally not too much pressure of a time-sensitive nature. You can fuck up and redo it if you need to, and no one will ever know. And that's, I think, a key thing, is that no one ever knows, because there are certain tracks and certain albums that I know you guys have listened to, of my albums, that there was no way you would know the state I was in when I made those songs, because I practiced while in that state, because I make a bunch of songs all the time throughout my entire life. Constantly, I can't stop myself. So no matter what state I'm in, no matter what's happening up here, you would never know. You would never be able to tell. And here's another example from my life story time of how I know that people can never know. A massive confidence boost that I got at one point in my life. At a certain point in my life, I used to be a smoke every day kind of guy. I used to go into school, and every lunch break I would go walk to the park, smoke a couple bowls, go to the shop, get a sandwich or something, come back, right? On the last day of school, I went around asking people in my class if they'd ever noticed that I was high all the time, and not a single person who I hadn't explicitly told already, not a single person had noticed. I was so sure everyone thought that I was like a stoner, complete loser stoner guy, right? But no one. I asked half my class at least, and obviously it's the people who I was closest to in that class, which was never super close to anyone, but I didn't go and ask complete strangers, right? People I talked to before were the people I asked. And none of them had noticed. None of them. Even people I talked to every day. These were mostly people I talked to every day, interacted with, was in a room with every day. Not a single one had noticed. And that's what gives me confidence in myself. Because now I know there's no way you guys are gonna know. You probably think I'm fucked up right now. I'm completely stone sober right now. I am sick, which is why I might seem a little, I'm sniffling and my throat's a bit fucked. I am sick. But I am stone sober. You would never have known. It's impossible for you to know. Because I'm just that much of a motherfucking gangster. No, the reason is actually that I built my brand, my personal brand, my personal self, my personality is just generally coherent, I guess is the word. Consistent, coherent. None of that's really the word I'm looking for. I don't know if there really is a word for what I'm looking for. But I guess it's like I don't want to say I have self-confidence, because that's not really what it is. It's something more subtle than that. You could say it's because I've built my brand around my weirdness, right? I don't shy away from it when I'm sober, when my inhibitions are not inhibited, right? I don't shy away from just being whatever, saying whatever comes into my mind or whatever. It sounds like a weird edgy thing, but I'm talking more like a schizophrenia thing. But I don't shy away from alienating people, is probably the best way to put it. I don't dumb myself down to not alienate people, especially in real life. I'm very careful about that sort of thing. I don't think it's good. I don't care if people think I'm weird or whatever, or creepy. I'd rather that than have to censor myself. Sorry, John Mouse. But I'm not becoming the titular censor of myself. I'll do what I want. So, in that regard, when my inhibitions are lowered, no one can tell. No one can ever tell, because I'm already some sort of fucking weird fucker. And that's what all artists should be, right? All artists should be some sort of weird fucker. And that's why you should do loads of drugs and then go and do a solo piano recital. The video doesn't really have a conclusion. It's mostly just a couple of stories, a couple of things I've noticed, you know. Did you notice this? You probably did. This is just a curtain railing or something. I don't think it actually is a curtain railing. It's something similar to that, something along those lines. I guess I'll be off to continue my journey now. I'll catch you all later. Catch you all later.